Headlines, highlights, the questions burning up the sports world get answered right here. This isn't just another recap, it's the sports answer. And leading the charge, sharp, fearless, and always bringing the edge, your host, Rudy Campos Jr. If you're talking sports, you better have the sports answer.
Hey, what is up, Sports Answer fans? It's Rudy Campos Jr. for the Sports Answer. Be sure to give our partners and our sponsors, Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. Give them a call today. Why? Because you want to be the miracle. Just like we saw Miracle on Ice 46 years ago. You want to be the best. You want to be the gold medal team, the gold medal brand. You call Salem Surround today, 210-526-3635, salemsurround.com, / San Antonio. Again, proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Answer. And do you believe in miracles? It was 46 years ago when Al Michaels made that everlasting statement, that everlasting call in the Olympics as Team USA defeated the Soviet Union 4-3 back in 1980. And lo and behold, we have again another Olympic gold for Team USA as they beat Team Canada 2-1 in overtime. And wow, I mean, what a thriller, man, because you're talking about, Connor Hallebuck. I mean, you could say easily probably the MVP of the gold medal game. It was a tremendous game for everybody that was watching. I had a lot of friends watching the game. I have some Canadian friends actually that were watching the game as well. It was a magnificent game. Shout out to a couple of guys out there that do cover hockey. They do a tremendous job out there. But the thing is that what it was Matt Boldy and Kel Maker. Maker for Canada, Boldy for the USA. They both scored. Then it was, Connor Hallebuck and then Jordan Bennington. I mean, both goalies were making incredible saves throughout the entire game. Game went into overtime where Jack Hughes scored the winning goal for Team USA. And as mentioned before, 46 years ago, man, when we saw Team USA beat Soviet Union, Al Michaels with that call, "Do you believe in miracles?" happened again this Olympic run right now. USA beats Canada 2-1. Congratulations to Team USA. I mean, it was a great feeling, man. It was a great feeling. You saw a lot of posts everywhere on social media about Team USA, Team Canada. I think at the end of the game, they were interviewing a lot of the Canadian players. I think they were kind of sour a little bit from what I understood. I didn't hear the interviews itself, but they seemed a little upset. Obviously, they felt they were the best team. And let's not lie. I mean, Team Canada has a tremendous team and definitely were the favorites, in this game. So it's another miracle, man. It's another miracle for Team USA. Congratulations to Team USA. Congratulations to Team Canada as well. And as far as the Olympics goes, congratulate every Olympian that won medal, whether it be a gold, silver, bronze. They all trained very, very hard for this moment. And it's come and gone. We will see the Olympics here in the next few years. So, again, congratulations to everybody that competed, all the athletes out there for the Olympics, getting ready for the Summer Olympics here pretty soon. So, again, congratulations, Team USA. Congratulations to all the athletes across the world that did compete in the Olympics. Y'all did a fantastic job. Big shout out here from us here at the Sports Answer. The thing that we've got to remember too on the Sports Answer is we've got MLB coming up very, very soon. I mean, we're already looking at spring training already popping off. We're seeing some games coming up here and there. We're going to get the MLB season very, very soon here. NFL's done, but NFL off season and our fan question of the week is based off of NFL off season. That's going to get started here, I believe, in the next couple of days, actually, is when we're going to start seeing the NFL offseason start to kick off. Most notably, the Dallas Cowboys were able to re-sign Javonte Williams for their running back. It was a 3-year deal. I won't comment on this and say that Javonte Williams coming back to the Cowboys is chef's kiss. I think he did absolutely great in Dallas. I think that this is a signing that would benefit the Cowboys. They don't need to go into the offseason looking for another running back. I think their running back room is pretty solidified right now. I like what they've done there. They can kind of concentrate on other parts of the other positions on the team. I'd love to see them upgrade the offensive line. You've got some great offensive line options in free agency. You've actually got some pretty good offensive linemen in the NFL draft. If they're able to draft one of the better ones there. But again, great signing by the Cowboys. We do have our NFL fan question. It's going to be around the NFL. We'll get to that here in just a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's do that right now. We'll do the NFL fan question right now. If you guys want to submit your question, again, all you got to do is comment down below. Drop the questions in there. We see a lot of questions come in the comments from previous shows when we talk about NFL, NBA, and we get those questions. We answer them for you here on the Sports Answer. You have those burning sports questions. We've got the Sports Answer brought to you by Salem Surround. And again, our sports question of the week is from Stanley A. of San Antonio, Texas. He's saying, what surprising offseason NFL moves could you see happening? Well, if I'm looking at dark horse stuff, we mentioned already Max Crosby being traded. That was something that we talked about a few weeks back. Breaking down the Raiders, the Raiders side of things. I'm not going to get too depth in that when it comes to the Raiders, but a surprise move that I could see probably come draft time is the Raiders possibly trading for a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, and possibly moving off of that number one pick and just getting a fool's gold worth of picks somewhere in there. That would be a surprising move for me if I see that. I hear that Fernando Mendoza is, the can't miss quarterback, yada yada. I love Mendoza. I mean, I picked Indiana to win the national title game when the CFP came out and the teams were announced. I had Indiana winning that. I just loved what Mendoza did. I love what Kurt Signetti did for Indiana. Talked about them a whole lot on the Sports Answer. But the question has always come up, and it came up with me too when I did a lot of the draft scouting that we've done for the Sports Answer here. And I don't know if it was so much Kurt Signetti's system that helped Mendoza get the Heisman Trophy. I do think he will be a good NFL quarterback. Now, is he the type of quarterback that's going to be able to lead the Raiders into the promised land? As of right now, I say no, but that's where you go in and maybe make a trade. Now, one guy in particular is possibly trading for Kirk Cousins from Atlanta. That gives you a veteran quarterback. You can still draft a QB. And when it comes to the NFL draft, I think you can easily trade that pick, that number one pick, get extra picks as well. Maybe draft a QB, Simpson out of Alabama, or you could wait next offseason, where your next draft, where you have Arch Manning, Dante Moore, a lot of these other guys coming out, where I think the 2027 NFL draft class for quarterbacks is extremely strong right now. So I would almost wait till that quarterback class comes out. But I guess what I'm good at is the NFL move. One surprising move would be the Raiders maybe trading that number one pick out because they're going to end up trading for a player like Kirk Cousins. And if we look at the Kirk Cousins type of move, you could possibly move Geno Smith and a pick to Atlanta in exchange for Kirk Cousins. I know they really want to get rid of Geno Smith. Atlanta could use a backup quarterback. I understand you're keeping Kirk, yeah, but Kirk doesn't want to be there. He could start in Las Vegas for the Raiders, at least for a season. That's a surprising. Other surprising NFL move that I could possibly see happening is that doesn't get talked about a whole lot, but I think we may see a number one wide receiver, a la Justin Jefferson. Possibly, definitely Mike Evans is a free agent. I don't see him returning to Tampa Bay at all again, but I could see Justin Jefferson. Could we see the Bengals break up a T. Higgins, Jamar Chase duo? So maybe a T. Higgins maybe being on the trading block. I think a wide receiver one, a big name wide receiver, is going to end up probably getting moved probably during the draft. Excuse me. AJ Brown, another one. I think a surprising NFL offseason move that gets talked about a whole lot is one of these wide receivers. Like I mentioned, AJ Brown probably getting moved as well. That's one thing that not a lot of people are reporting on, a lot of people are talking about, but I think a big time wide receiver will end up getting traded, whether it be Justin Jefferson, one of the Bengals wide receivers, AJ Brown, more than likely being moved as well. The other one that I could possibly see happen now, again, Max Crosby's one. I could possibly see the Browns moving on from Miles Garrett, and that's terrible to say, but at this point in Miles Garrett's career, you're not going to really win with the Browns. They don't have a quarterback right now. I don't really believe in Shedeur Sanders. I don't believe in anything that they've got right now offensively. So why not go get multiple picks? And that way, again, you kind of solidify your spot. You're going to have a down season this year, possibly. You get into the quarterback class for next year where you've got, an elite quarterback class coming in next year. I think moving on from Miles Garrett is one move that you possibly could see. Is it a surprising move? I'm not so sure that it's a surprising move, but it would shock a lot of people to see that because I think he wants to be in Cleveland and I think Cleveland wants him there. But again, from a GM standpoint, from a winning standpoint, you can get a whole lot for Miles Garrett. So again, the Raiders possibly trading out of number one and trading for a veteran quarterback, at least for a season, that's way better than Geno Smith, was one of them. Another one of the wide receiver ones. I think we see a wide receiver one get moved somewhere. I circled Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown as my two wide receiver ones that I could potentially see being moved. Also, Miles Garrett possibly being moved. Those would be the surprising offseason NFL moves that I could see happening. Possibly, maybe during the draft, we could possibly see something like that happening. So, appreciate the question out there. If you got any more questions, again, you would just want to drop your question on the show, drop your question on any show that we've done, from this one to previous ones, drop them on the show. If you see a short on on our TikTok, which is the Sports Answer, drop it on the short. Wherever you want to drop those questions, just drop them on there. Again, shout out to Salem Surround, our sponsors here at the Sports Answer, 210-526-3635. And you know what, guys? We're going to make the rest of the show NBA talk. We've got Spurs Cheesemate coming up. But have we really figured out who's going to be the representatives on the West and the Eastern Conference? Plus tanking. We talked about it last week. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. Let's get into some NBA talk right now. All right, so NBA talk before we get into Spurs Cheesemate. Do we already have these teams narrowed down as our title favorites? I mean, we got 3 teams in the West. We got about 4 teams in the East. OKC, the Spurs, Denver. Clearly the top 3 teams that are going to battle it out in the Western Conference. Then you've got the East. I've got 4 teams roughly in that Eastern Conference. Knicks, Celtics, Pistons, Cavaliers. Cavaliers have been on, a really good, really big time winning streak. They ended up losing yesterday to the Oklahoma City Thunder. But again, I mean, can we really say that we've narrowed it down? Our sports question right now is, as you can see in front of you, have we narrowed it down? I think in the Western Conference, you're looking at OKC, the Spurs, and the Nuggets. I don't see anybody else. Minnesota maybe comes into play, but I don't see Minnesota outlasting a healthy Thunder, Spur, or Nuggets team. Out of those 3 in the West, I mean, talking to Derek Irvin, this week, I still like the Spurs and Nuggets over the Thunder. I think the Jared McCain move is a brilliant move by Oklahoma City, especially with Shea out. Jared McCain will make a difference. But overall, I think, the Spurs defensively can give Oklahoma City a lot of fits. The Spurs can start to click towards the end of the year. They're playing, A+ basketball on this rodeo road trip that they are currently on. But I still think the Spurs could outlast OKC in a 6 or 7 game series. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. They've already played OKC a numerous amount of times already, and they've played OKC the best out of anybody that I've seen OKC play so far and have struggles with. When it comes to Denver, that's the part where it's crazy because you're going to say, Rudy, I mean, OKC is better than Denver. You could say that, but I trust Denver to beat a Spurs team more than I do OKC. I think Denver's depth is really, really good. They compare very easily to San Antonio. It comes down to the veteran play, Jamal Murray. You've got Nikola Jokic, obviously. Aaron Gordon gets healthy. You've got Aaron Gordon there. They've got a deep bench and a already battle-tested Nuggets team who's already won an NBA championship. So does experience take a little bit more of a front seat to, the rookie class basically of San Antonio because they will be rookies in the playoffs. Only a few guys have had playoff experience here. I think I would trust a Denver team over San Antonio rather than an OKC team. So if I'm ranking them right now, all three teams healthy, I would put the Spurs over the Nuggets barely. I'm talking 1A, 1B, then OKC behind both of those teams. The question is can the Spurs catch the Thunder, knowing that I don't think they play them for the rest of the season already? Can the Thunder struggle a little bit? The Spurs stay red hot and catch OKC for that for the first seed. The chances are really good that they can. I mean, I think as of right now, as of this recording, they're 3 games back of OKC. So a lot can be told. I mean, 40-16 San Antonio. Nobody had the Spurs winning 40 games in their first 56. There is nobody that had that. I don't even think they had that. They probably figured we'd be around that 30 win mark right now, 32 win mark. Their expectations they're going way crazy with the expectations, but nonetheless, Western Conference, I'm ranking them right now. Spurs, Nuggets, 1A, 1B. You can flip-flop them. I don't care. I won't disagree with you on that. OKC at 3. That is healthy. Healthy teams right here. From what I can see, if all 3 teams are healthy, that's my rankings. When you go to the Eastern Conference, I'm not a fan of the Knicks right now. Yeah, the Knicks, they're on a 2-game winning streak, but Detroit is the red hot darling of the Eastern Conference, a 5.5 game lead going into a game tonight against the San Antonio Spurs, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I have the West a lot closer than I do the East. I have Detroit, and then I've got a long drop. Then I'm going probably with the Celtics, Cavaliers, and Knicks. That would be my ranking right now. Celtics, Cavs, Knicks. I think the Knicks. It's hard to say. I can only say I don't really trust Karl Anthony Towns, and I'm just going to flat out say it. I don't trust Cat. I don't think he'll have a. I think he'll have a good, above average, not amazing NBA playoff run. It's gonna fall on Jalen Brunson. But of the 4 teams, I think I have the Knicks at 4. I like the Celtics, but I think a team like Cleveland would give everybody fits, with the exception of a healthy and a non-suspended Isaiah Stewart Detroit Pistons team. I think the Pistons, who've clearly have just been, like a billion times better than the Knicks. Obviously, you can tell even without no Duran or Stewart, they were able to handle the Knicks very easily. Detroit is just the darlings. I think they can handle the Cavaliers. They can handle the Celtics. They can handle the Knicks. When it comes to the Eastern Conference, a healthy Pistons team is probably going to be your Eastern Conference representative. I'm gonna go on record right now and just say that I think they're the Eastern Conference representative. So I think the East is going to be the Pistons, and I think in the West, it's going to come down to the Nuggets and Spurs. I think it's going to be a Nuggets and Spurs, whichever team now. If OKC is the number 1 seed, Spurs and Nuggets stay in the same spot. Spurs and Nuggets are going to be in the second round. to see who gets to that, Western Conference Finals. That's going to be interesting. I think your Western Conference final representative, your NBA Finals from the Western Conference representative, would be between the Nuggets and Spurs if we're going by by the eye test right now. So Pistons in the East for me, and as of right now, it's either the Spurs or Nuggets in the finals. It depends if the Spurs get the 1 seed. You know, I don't know. I mean, then you're talking about maybe OKC playing Denver in the second round. You know, it's anything is possible. Anything is possible right now. That was the question. What do you guys think out there? Do you think we've narrowed it down already on who are the NBA title favorites? Just 7 teams right now, 4 in the East, 3 in the West. What do you guys think out there? Take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we've got some NBA tanking talk. Then we got the Spurs Cheeseman here. Listening to the Sports Answer, part of Answer Now TV on YouTube. Shout out to Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Rudy Campos Jr., we'll be back.
In San Antonio, your business deserves more than noise. It deserves to be seen. SEO, social media, digital ads. If you're not showing up, you're losing customers. At Salem Surround San Antonio, we design digital strategies that work, from web design and SEO to social, podcast, and display ads. Real tools. Real results. Let's amplify your brand. Start today with a free digital presence evaluation. Salem Surround San Antonio, your brand, everywhere it matters.
All right, welcome back to the Sports Answer. Salem Surround 210-526-3635. The one company that's going to make you a champion, not once, not twice, not thrice. There's no three-peat. It's way more than that. It's a guaranteed champion for your brand every single year and every single day of the year. Call Salem Surround today, 210-526-3635, or go to salemsurround.com/San Antonio. Contact them today for all your digital marketing needs. They will take care of you from start to finish. Tanking. We talked about it last week, how tanking has become an issue. Never really became an issue. I mean, it was an issue from back in the day, but it just started to get under the microscope now this season. Why? I mean, you've seen Indiana get fined. You've seen Utah get fined. There was a game where Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr. for Utah didn't even play the fourth quarter. They ended up losing the game after being ahead the entire game against Orlando. So now it's an issue. Now, I get it, man. Spurs, one of the teams that always gets mentioned is the Spurs. Well, they landed David Robinson. The Spurs were actually a pretty bad team before that. They landed David Robinson, okay. Were they tanking? Wasn't really anything that you could consider tanking back then. Wasn't really a big issue. Then I hear people say, well, Tim Duncan, they tanked for Tim Duncan. If you go back, that Spurs team lost David Robinson for the year early. Sean Elliott was out for, not for the year if I remember, but majority of the season. An elder Dominique Wilkins was the leading scorer for that San Antonio team, I think averaging 20, 21 points a game. That Spurs team was bad, but it was bitten by the injury bug. So is it tanking if your Hall of Fame top 50 player of all time, probably more than that, top 25 maybe, of all time is out? A healthy Robinson, that Spurs team is not drafting Tim Duncan. So I don't want to hear that, well, the Spurs tanked for Tim Duncan. No, they didn't tank for Tim Duncan. But I'll pull it back a little bit here. When it comes to Wemby, okay, if you want to make the case for Wemby, I'll let you make that case for Wemby. Tanking, okay, yeah, tanking. Did the Mavericks tank for Cooper Flag? Yeah, I'll say that. This tanking ruined the sport. It's part of the game. It happens. NFL, you see it all the time. They're Cleveland Browns lose. So they can get a top pick. There's no lottery bounds in the NFL. There's a lottery in the NBA. There's no lottery in the NFL. If you're bad, you're bad. You get a top pick regardless. You fall where you are. But NBA tanking has been an issue. So they say, well, recent GMs just had a meeting. This is what came out of those meetings. And we asked the question, the sports question is, which rule would actually fix tanking? First round picks can only protect the top 4 or top 14. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or later. No top picks in consecutive years, top 4 picks in consecutive years. No top 4 picks after conference final appearance. Lottery odds based on 2-year records. Expand lottery to include play-in teams. Flatten odds for all lottery teams. What rules would help that? Personally, I love the lottery odds freezing at the trade deadline. Once that's it, that's it. If you're bad before the trade deadline, boom, that's it. After that, they're frozen. If you so happen to lose more games, too bad. If you've got the 6th best opportunity to get the number 1 pick at the trade deadline, you're going to have the 6th best opportunity to get those top pick. I like that one. The no top 4 pick after conference, that to me, that is ridiculous, because you're looking at Indiana saying you were in the finals. Now you're a lottery team. They lost Tyrese Halliburton. They've traded away Miles Turner. You lose your best player for a year. It goes back to the David Robinson effect. The Spurs lost David Robinson for the year. They were going to be a bad team. They were going to be a bad team. Now, maybe there was we're talk about, well, we need to lose a few games here because we got to get Timmy. We got to have good chances to get Tim Duncan. But again, a healthy Robinson, the Spurs aren't in that position. I don't like that. You can't say, well, you were in the finals last year. Look at the dynamic of the team. Something changed the reason why they were bad. So I don't like that pick, that right there. The top 4 picks in consecutive years, I can get behind that. I think if you draft in the top 4 one year, you're not allowed to draft in the top 4 the next year. I think I can get behind that. Charles Barkley brought up one thing that it's the craziest idea, but it makes the most sense. Spurs fans, I'm going to use you as an example, because during those bad, tough years, you didn't want to see ticket prices going up. You didn't want to see the price of an NBA game costing you still $400 or $500 to take you and your family just to get tickets, not including whatever the concessions were. You never wanted to see that. I agree with him saying if you're that bad and you're just losing, you cannot raise ticket prices. I love that idea. Will it happen? Definitely not. But I do love that idea. For me, the top 4 picks in consecutive years, love it. Freeze the odds at the trade deadline, love that one. But again, flatten odds for all lottery teams. Whether you're bad, or you're just bad, if you're in the lottery, 1 ping pong ball. That's it. And then if you look at it, when they do the ping pong balls in the lottery system, it's by code. It's like by numbers. It's 4, 3, 2, 2, 1. It's not Orlando has this 1 ball. They get the first pick. Oh, Charlotte gets this pick. It's nothing like that. It's by this whole, this number code that the NBA does. Screw all that. Just put all the teams in there that are lottery bound, 1 ball each. Whoever comes up, that's 1. Whoever comes up, that's 2. That's it. Just flatten the odds. Just make it 1 ball per team. Be done with it. You're not putting multiple bingo balls when you're going to play bingo and expecting the same team to have like the same number to be in there 50 times or whatever. Those are the ones that I like. Which ones do you like out there? Got to get real quick to some Spurs Cheeseman here. We'll be back.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs Cheeseman. Nina, por favor.
All right, Spurs Cheeseman here. Spurs did sign Mason Plumlee, and I will say this. They did let Jeremy Sohan go. And again, that was already the writing was on the wall. We talked about that for the longest time. Great signing by the San Antonio Spurs and Mason Plumlee, a guy that's a true veteran, a good basketball IQ, can make the correct pass, very tough player, can get to the basket, can make things happen. You're already backing up Wemby with Luke Cornett, adding Plumlee and still having Kelly Olynyk with that experience that he's got. Kudos to the Spurs. It was a great signing for them. That's part of your cheeseman. The other cheeseman is Spurs are on an 8-game winning streak, man. They went into Austin. They beat Phoenix and they also beat. Sorry, it's at the top of my mind here. They did beat Phoenix recently and the Kings in the Austin games over at the Moody Center. 8-game winning streak going into tonight's game against Detroit. Massive game. Two of the top teams of the NBA. Two of the NBA's best going at it in Detroit. Can the Spurs get through the Pistons here? And we're going to leave on this question here. Can the Spurs get up for this game the way they've gotten up for games against Denver, the way they've gotten up for games against OKC? This is a potential finals matchup against the Pistons. Cade Cunningham, MVP basketball. He's got Detroit feeling great again. But this is the test right here. Those games in the past between OKC and Denver, even the Knicks games, the Cup game, all these games, these tough games that they've played, for me, for Rudy Campos here on the Sports Answer, they don't mean much right now. This is the game where I circle right now and say, okay, Spurs, what do you have? What are you going to do? How are you going to compete against arguably what is probably the best team in the league right now? Can they compete? Can they win? Can they install their dominance that they currently are on right now and show Detroit that the Spurs are back? That is the question going into tonight's game. They are right at an 8-game winning streak. Can they get it to 9? If they can get it to 9, and if they convincingly beat the Pistons, well, Spurs fans, we may have to consider them the best team in the league. And that's something that we'll have to talk about next week here on the Sports Answer. Appreciate everybody joining me for today, Sports Answer. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV. Hit that subscribe button so you're getting the Sports Answer each and every week. Shout out to Salem Surround, our sponsors, 210-526-3635, salemsurround.com/San Antonio. They're going to get you squared away every single day of the year. Your brand's going to be number one priority for them. They're going to make sure your brand is everywhere and getting noticed. That is Salem Surround, 210-526-3635. And appreciate everybody that's joined me today. Again, if you've got those sports questions, just drop them in the comments. We'll get to them. We will answer all your questions. We're going to talk more Spurs next week. We'll see how this week goes against the Pistons for them, see where they finish off the week when we come back here on the Sports Answer and get you guys ready for NFL offseason talk, NFL draft talk, as well as MLB getting ready. Start of season's already here, so we're going to try to get some MLB talk in for you guys as well. Appreciate you again joining us here on the Sports Answer. It's Rudy Campos Jr. You have those burning sports questions, we've got the sports answers for you here on the Sports Answer.
You've been listening to the Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. Today's show was brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, helping local businesses grow with digital strategies that work. Visit salemsurround.com/San Antonio to learn more. We'll see you next time on the Sports Answer.